for this sequence layout, the main hero of this layout is going to be the sunrise sunset template. The main reason for that is that I'm using 4 sequential photos, and they are revolved around a rainbow, and I figure that this is perfect. This template is perfect for that. I'm going to use colours to fill in the top part of the template, and then these 4 sections here, I don't know whether you can see them properly, I'll show you them again later, is where the 4 photos are going to go. So because I wanted to capture all the colours of the rainbow, I'm using a paper out of the Orchid, one out of the Aqua combo pack that we had from quite some time ago. I've chosen a piece out of the Botanical Burst Pink to give us our full spectrum. The rest of the colours are coming from the brand new Feeling Bright Tone on Tone paper pack that came out of the most recent Secret box that had the rainbow punch in it. Then for the base, I'll be using 2 sheets out of the Feeling Bright Designer paper pack, and so these are all the selection of papers I've chosen. So that will be my pink, my plum, my aqua, just to show you, green, and these are the patterns I'm using, the yellow, orange and red. So they're my papers I will use. As I said, I chose 4 rainbow photos that I will cut to try to fit into that. I think it's 3 by 5.5 slot, but I'll remeasure that and check that for you also. I've chosen a few extra embellishments that might work, and these are my backgrounds. Now to create that rainbow pattern, so we've got stickers and embellishments that I may use. Now to create that background pattern, you can either just use it as you would with a standard template. Draw, flip over your papers, flip over your template, use a pencil, draw it out, use a pair of micro tip scissors and fussy cut. You can use that option, or you may want to, if you're confident enough, you may want to use the circle cutter, or the other option is using the guide, the CCS circles, so you can see how the larger one will get you close, but you're still not going to get it perfect for the sides, so just be aware of that. And each circle is about the width of a template, so making those work might be a tad harder. So for me, I think just fussy cutting them out is going to be the quickest and simplest option, so I think we'll take that route. Now we'll just get quickly started. Move some stuff to one side. Get rid of the extra bits we won't need for now. Bit of a tidy up. So this is my backing paper that the rainbow is going to go on and my photos are going to go on, but I want a small section of this beautiful cloud and sun paper to show through the edge of it. So, and I only want a small amount, so because I like to preserve paper, I'm going to use the paper clip method to cut a frame out of that, a small frame, and you'll only need about a 1-inch wide frame to allow this to fit on. So we need to start by cutting, I think, 1/2 inch from 2 sides, and then we'll cut the frame. So take your 12-inch trimmer. I actually think mine's due for a matte turnover, so I might do that first. It's almost just about due for a good clean too. So we want about 1/2 inch from 2 sides, which will give me my 1/4 inch border. that to one side in case we can use it for later. Amazing what a difference a brand new mat does when cutting. Trim. And there's our mat ready to go. Now I'll just go find my clips and we can get this 1-inch border done. We've released these new 5x7 photo boxes. I do use the odd 5x7 photo, but I found they're really useful for putting some small tools in, so they're easily found. So that's what I'm using mine for. I might take out my microchip scissors while I'm there, because I'm going to use those as well. Rid of that. So these little ball clips you pick up from stationery shops, perfect for locking onto your trimmer to lock it in place when creating frames. So I want about a 1-inch frame, so using the carriage, if I line up this white line, and I'm hoping you can see that, to the 1-inch mark, push down, clip, and then the other side will have to be at the 11-inch mark because I'm making it a 1-inch frame, and then we'll conserve some of our paper. Lock that in, and now the carriageway will only move between those sections. So then take our paper, line it up at the 1-inch mark, cut, and there's the start of our frame. Keep rotating. Such a simple and useful technique. And then I can always use the piece that I'm cutting out, that center piece, to mat photos if I choose to. And I will have it left over. So I only want the edge of it to mat my larger sheet, so it's not all the same colour. Okay, that's the piece I've cut away that I can use possibly later. Like I say, I might use the other side, whatever have you, to mat photos. And this will now, thanks to those magic clips, pop this to one side, become my frame. So that is going to adhere to the top, so you can just see that lovely little brightness coming through around all the sides there. So I'll go ahead and we will adhere that and come back to you. Now we have our base done. Now the next part of our layout is to create this rainbow piece at the top. So take our template out. Now if you've ever used these templates, they give you several different options on the card insert at the front there, and you can choose your options, but sometimes I go a little bit rogue and decide to do my own thing, and this is one of them where I'm using the template but I'm not following their guide quite so much. So this is the template. When you use them, always make sure it's got the logo, Creative Memories logo, and the date at the bottom. Make sure that's always facing the bottom left hand corner, and then you'll never get lost in the template. So make sure that that's facing up. So now I've got my colours laid out in the order I wanted, and if I reach over and grab my ruler, because I wanted to check the size of the photos, I think I mentioned that. So they are going to be roughly about 5 3/4 long by 2 3/4 wide if I want all 4. Otherwise I'm going to have a space that's 5 by 5.5, I think. That's 5.5. Well, that's still 5 1/4 by 5 1/4, I guess, if I was to do 2 square photos. So so just, if you are picking a photo spot, make sure you work out the correct size before you start. So now let's go ahead and as I said, I will go ahead and cut all my photos that they will fit my spots. I'll work that out, and I will also go ahead, and I've got my papers in order. So before I leave you and move ahead with it, what I usually do is this is the pattern I want to appear in this section here. I hope you can see that. Lift that up. So I want that pink part to be in that section there. So what I would generally do is flip the template, because some are directional, and then flip my paper, and I would mark it out on the back. And this is where you can choose to either use a custom cutting system, if there's one that fits, to make that work, or you can just fussy cut it out with scissors. Then when I cut it out, turn it over, and once I've got all my pieces cut out, I will use the trusty little multi-purpose tip clips that here we go, here they are here, that goes with them, to clip my template down and then adhere all my pieces in. So you get them all cut first, and then you adhere them. So I'm going to go ahead and cut them all, and then I'm going to show you how to put them all down. Now I have gone ahead and I've cut out all of my individual pieces. So my next job is going to be adhering them to the backing paper we did earlier with the frame cutout. And with every single one of the Creative Memories templates, the best thing you can do is to make sure you clip when you're adhering your papers and so forth, so that you get them nice and even, is to use the multi-purpose clips that you can either purchase separately or with them, to just hold your template in place. So you just need to line it up and pop one on each corner. And I try to do them in different directions, so it gives a nice firm grip on it, just to make sure nothing is going to move. The next thing we will need to use is our repositionable tape, because we want to make sure that if we pop something down and it's not quite right, we can move it. So like I said, I've gone ahead and pre-cut all my pieces. Now, because this template has a center bar up the middle, I'm going to put adhesive on the whole thing, but it'll only sit on one side, and then when we take the template away, it'll fall into place. So I'll start by adding some adhesive to the first piece. And realistically, I'm only going to need the template for this top section, because the bottom section I'm using my photos to fill. So like I say, I'll go through and add adhesive to the whole thing, but we're only going to line it up and pop it on one side, because that bar will be in the way until we remove it. So make sure you put your adhesive, make sure you adhere it all on the same side. This one will show you how I'm using this side, but I've drawn in pencil on the opposite side, so I don't have to rub anything out. because who wants to do any more work than we need to? You keep going till you get to the end, and this is once I lift the template, this will come together very, very quickly. Make sure those sides, so when I lift it, nothing is going to move. Sure that's in place. Now 2 corners. Now they can go directly in because there's nothing stopping them. So they can go directly in the corners. I would have used the yellow sun pattern on the yellow piece, but because the opposite side of this is red dots, and I wanted the red dots because the other side is white, I decided that I had to have orange suns instead. It's a bit of a shame, but that's fine. It'll still look fantastic. Okay. And my last 2 pieces. Corner pieces. As I said earlier, you could have used the custom cutting system or the circle cutter to do your rings, but I just fussy cut them because I feel like I'm fairly good with scissors, so, and it'll look fairly straight, not maybe completely, but fairly. Okay, now we've adhered all of our pieces down, we will take the clips off and remove the template and stick the rest down and finish this page up. I have already gone ahead and adhered my photos to the mats, so that's already done for you. So just carefully peel it away. Now you'll get to this section and you'll see that there's a bit of resistance here. Oh, I caught it at the top there. Up, up, up. I have to lift that up. And you should be able to slide it out. And that's down. So it's as simple as that. And that's how our templates work. So now I've got my 4 photos. And I have already gone ahead and pre-matted them. So I'll work out roughly where they're going to go. I think something like that. I'll go ahead and adhere those, and then I'll finish off the rest of the bits and pieces. So a couple of seconds, I'll have it all down. And for my mats, the piece of designer paper I cut out from the frame we made for the backing piece is now matting my photos, so nothing went to waste. I just flipped 2 of the sides so that you'd have a bit of contrast. Nearly there. And you can pretty much all just eyeball this it doesn't need the template to line them up. I think you can pretty well work out where they go. I think keep your sides lined up with the edge of your rainbow, and it'll work. Just might move that one down a tiny bit because my OCD is getting the better of me. And that one just needs a tiny bit of moving right there. Okay, so now to finish this off, I've chosen a cloud sticker, which I think I'm going to place over the edge there. Go ahead and do that. Just a few simple embellishments. Get it to the edge. And so the rainbow is coming through the clouds. And if it's not all 100% even, this will cover up any of your imperfections. So, done. I think I'm going to place, I might even lift that slightly. There, and that can go underneath. I might find some foam squares. Sure that's in the middle. Just there is perfect. Oh, move it over, I think. Okay, and I think I'm going to add this one to the center, and I think I might foam square it, so that might need to come up just a tiny little bit, so we're not covering up any of the words. And I think I'm going to foam square that. And I'll have to find those. And I think I will foam square some of these. I've made a trio of clouds to go to one side. So let me grab my foam squares. Should have already had these out because they're so versatile. Okay, let's do a few foam squares on these. And if you're not a foam square person, you can just adhere that down. Some people, like myself, love them, and other people have never used them or are not really into them, and that's fine too. Whatever suits your page. But I love the idea that you can take multiple photos of the same theme and you get the picture, the idea. I might actually swap though. I'm just amazing when you stand back and look. I think I'll pop that one down the bottom. I was too busy lining up where they were going and not looking at the actual photos. Thank goodness for repositionable tape. Okay, I think that looks actually better. I think that's better. Okay. But, you know, a sequence of photos that actually tell the story. I almost think I really want to swap over the other two as well. Because it's like, if you look at the sequence of it, and I should have had them lined up first before I stuck them down. If you look at the sequence, you know, that's sort of looking at the rainbow to begin with, and then by the last photo you can see this glorious rainbow across the sky. But quite often we take multiple photos of something and then don't know what to do with them, I think, and I think that's what prompted the theme for this workshop. Because sometimes it's hard to just use one or two photos. Sometimes there's too much story happening to just use one or two. So sometimes we need to use a whole sequence, and whether that be a single page or a double page, but we need to use the whole sequence. So that's better. Now, I think I'll create, this is a sticker, so I think what I'm going to do is create a bit of a cluster. So start by adding a bit of adhesive to that one. Look where that is. And then I'll foam square this one so it's slightly down and higher. So if we take off the sticker backing, oops, and I took off that with it. So we'll just re-adhere that. Oop. Make sure I'm getting oh, I did the wrong side, so maybe that might help if I go that side. I was trying to stick it on that top corner and it wasn't working. Okay, like that. And adhere that to roughly about there. And then add a few little foam squares to just pop it up a little bit. I also, I never use in the embellishment packs, they sometimes give you gemstones and little soft pearl type of embellishments. And I never usually use them, but I thought on this we might attempt, I'll try putting that one that way, see if that helps. So the sun's peeking through the clouds. I might attempt to use a few of these because they're something I never usually use. And I like the soft ones. The hard gems are great for cards, but probably not so much for your scrapbook pages. But these are nice and soft, so I figured I might try to use maybe a couple of these, possibly use a few of these around our little rain cloud area. Oop. I'll even put that there, I think that looks good. And we might add a little sun to each side of our hearts. And I think that looks fantastic now. Okay, well, have fun playing with your sunrise sunset template, and you can see it's easy to put a great sequence layout together. Thank you.